Hey guys, it's Mike from Ophelia's Blue Vine Farm, and today I'm answering some questions from the students at JCCC. Their sustainable market farming program out there is an incredible program teaching young farmers all about scaling up, all about market gardening, sustainability, and had a wonderful opportunity over the years to work with this program. It's a great program, of course, and so they've already watched the soil building video and how we did it at Ophelia's, and a lot of questions and a lot of discussions from that video. So I'm going to answer all the questions that I have sent in, and if you have any additional questions, you can reach out to me at opheliasbluevine.com, opheliasbluevine.com. Go to my contact page and then type in your name, your phone number, your email address, and your question, and I'll make sure to get back with you within just a few short days. So our first question is, how did you remove lead and arsenic from the soil? Do you have to remove the contaminated dirt? Now that's a great question. We went with a little bit different strategy. Of course, one of the strategies was to dig everything out and take it off site and remove it. Now we did remove some dirt and we debris, brought bricks and rubble and stuff like that. But the other strategy was just one of bringing in good data proven soil and compost, building soil and compost and tilling that in. So that was a strategy that we did in order to bring those levels down, and it took quite a while to get in there and to actually till it into the soil and make sure that it was tilled in really well, mixed really well in order to bring those lead levels down. So that's how we did it at Ophelia's. So the question is, how difficult was it to get your products into local grocery stores? It wasn't tremendously difficult, but it was really tedious, and there was a lot of work behind the scenes that had to be done. I think it helps when you start with a great product, and you have a lot of momentum behind you. We had just come off a $25,000 grant through an organization in Kansas City called Casey Gift. Casey Gift is a nonprofit organization helping African American small business owners scale up in the urban core, and through them came their network of resources, and they set up the meeting for us with Hy-Vee Supermarket. I think we were just in the right place at the right time. Hard work had paid off, and the product really speaks for itself. I think when they came in, they tasted the product, they saw what we were doing. Of course, a great product will speak for itself. The passion you put into your product, will just come across regardless of what it is that you're growing. If you cut a lot of corners, then that is going to come across in the product. So if you have a lot of love and a lot of passion and a lot of hard work, then it's going to work out for you. For us, I think the most difficult process was making sure we got the cold chain down, making sure we got the proper packaging, picked up the right UPCs, got the delivering, and then later came the record keeping and some of the other administrative stuff. So for us, it wasn't too incredibly difficult. But I guess it did take maybe 7 years to get there. So that's how we did that. It's a great opportunity for us to grow and really put our product out there. Calculated it out a couple of weeks ago. And over the 2 years, we've delivered over 25,000 units. So that's everyone who lives in, say, Grandview. So we've been able to do some amazing things, over 2 years with being able to deliver to these grocery stores. Next question. Something interesting I learned that Mike purchased the land for his farm through the Kansas City Land Bank. As a follow-up to that, I'd be curious to know what his experience was with the process. Land Bank and the process. I think Land Bank is a great place to start if you're looking at doing something like this, but it's going to be challenging, because I think that right now there's been a big push for development, for commercial building, and so it's going to be difficult, to get them to see your vision, but if I can do it, you can do it. So the next question is, why did Mike choose to focus on herbs as a basis for his farm business? to relate it to the soil. What profiles do herbs grow best in? So I started specializing in herbs because we just didn't have the space to do other stuff. We really love growing things like collard greens and mustards. This year we have access to more land in Edwardsville, Kansas, so we've grown a ton of watermelon, cantaloupes, and other stuff. And so I think you have to look at the space and what is the space telling you? Is it a space that you can grow root crops? How is the soil? Is the soil rocky? So if the soil is not ideal for what you want to grow, then just listen to the soil and grow what grows best in that environment. And so for me, it was, you're dealing with sand, you're dealing with lack of water at a lot of times, heavy clay, and so for me, I looked at how well the herbs grew in that environment, how well my grapes grew in that environment, being stressed, making the product taste better, somewhat restricting the growth. And so that's why I chose herbs, and it's a little bit of a niche too. I think you want to stay away from doing what everyone else is doing, and so that's been our secret. We're doing something a little bit different, but at the end of the day, we're doing something that we love, and I think that's the most important thing. Next question: besides degraded soil, what other challenges does the farm face growing in urban Kansas City? I think we have a lot of social issues. We have multiple homeless camps very close to us. And so, you have issues of theft, people trying to steal from you or break in. And, recently we had a chicken that was stolen. I think it's hard to make sense of it a lot of times because there's a lot of people out there with mental issues. And so you're dealing with that. You're dealing with someone who may do something because their mind's not right, or someone who may intend to do well. But just odd stuff like, someone cutting all of the tips of the roses off your rose bushes, or, someone might see your chicken as a pet and hop the fence and steal it. So it is harder to do in an urban environment, but I think there's a great benefit because this type of stuff is not seen in an urban environment. And so you really have the opportunity to do something that really brightens up someone's day and really makes a difference and really changes a person's thinking. And so that's why I love it. So the next question is, how is soil management affected by the surrounding urban environment? How do you counteract pollution, contaminants, and the effects of a heat island? What are the benefits of urban farm? There are a bunch of benefits of an urban farm. Your food doesn't have to travel as far, so you have a fresher food. You're also helping support the local economy. You're helping create jobs. Another great thing we do at Affiliates is we accept food scraps. And so we take those and we shred those, or we feed them to worms. We basically turn it into soil. And so that doesn't have to go out to a landfill. And so, we also have an educational component, a teaching component, and inspiring people to get back into gardening, to be one with nature. And it has a huge benefit in urban farm in the city. So the next part of this question was, how do you counteract pollution, contaminants, and effects of the heat island? I'm a little bit different because I'm not directly in the heart of a downtown, like surrounded by high-rise apartments and whatnot. The beauty of where I'm at is I have an old-growth forest really next to me. And so it basically allows me to grow stuff like cilantro, parsley, grow stuff I couldn't grow in that in an urban environment. And it's because I still have those old growth trees, and it just keeps the area very cool. And we have a lot of trees inside the greenhouse. They're grapevines, they're shading, they're cleaning the air. And so, we're doing a really good job, I think, as far as what we've done to keep it cool and to clean the air. So the next question, what's a good way to get your homegrown products into stores? Well, I guess one of the first things would be to contact someone at your local supermarket, be it Whole Foods or Hy-Vee or Walmart, and tell them, about your product, and maybe give them a sample, see if you can set up a meeting, and just speaking to someone about your product and really trying to push your product. And I think speaking to everyone you can about your product is really going to help you. At the end of the day, you are going to have to carry insurance. If it's canned, you want to make sure you have all the certifications. If you're putting it together, processing, you make sure it's in a food grade kitchen and you have all the paperwork and whatnot on that. But I think it's just about getting out and getting exposure, telling people about your product, having them try it, building a hype maybe on social media, running ads in the paper, maybe some TV and radio. But the best way is just to get started. Next question, do you really need to spend $30,000 for a soil test, or was the cost so higher because it used to be an industrial area and there were hazardous materials, chemicals in the soil? Yeah, so I got a Brownsfield grant to do that, and those grants start at $30,000. It's an extreme detailed plan. It's like the ultimate soil test, and they take drill samples and they drill down as far as they can. To me, I believe it was like 14 feet till they hit shale, and then that's the sample they send back up. They send it out at the lab and they look for everything. Was this a bit of an overkill? Well, possibly. But for me, at the time, I was right across the street from a school, and I had a division of partnering with them, and I wanted the kids to come over and play in the dirt and plant stuff. And so I really wanted to make sure it was safe for the children. Since then, that school has shut down, but I'm still glad, I'm still happy that we did the testing, and so we could be 100% sure what was going on in the soil. And so normally you wouldn't, have that expense. But where I was at 18th and Vine, that area was industrial many years ago, and the city didn't do a good job of how people would dispose of things at that time. I think I'm right next to what was an ammonia ice plant, dry cleaners. There was some other stuff. And so we just wanted to be safe. And so we did the test, we did the phase one. And the phase one says, okay, there possibly could be contaminants. Should we go further? And then we did a phase two. And that was, it took about 3 years before we got the results back. And then we were able to put together a really good plan to clean the soil and move forward. Next question, is the lead truly gone from the soil? Could it be in the soil further down and possess an issue in the future? Is the soil testing annually a good idea to check for potential remaining level? You will do tests every year. I don't know if it would be for lead. That would be a separate test that you would have to do and send out. But I think, you can't be 100% sure. But the way they do the original soil testing is by sampling segments so many feet. They drill so many feet, and so with a high degree of certainty, after the testing is done, you can pretty much look at which zones may need to be looked at again, or which zones are free of contaminants and which ones aren't. And so this is a process that you wouldn't have to do every year. And if every year you're building your soil, then it should just get better and better and better. Next question, what is the initial process and current upkeep process and amount of compost, worms, mushroom spores needed to make and keep the soil healthy? Even if there was no hazardous waste present, is there a higher level of upkeep needed because the soil has a high clay content? Is more organic matter, worms, mushroom spores needed multiple times a year to keep good soil because of the amount of clay? Okay, so clay can be a good thing, can be a bad thing, depending upon what you're growing. If you're growing something with a really long taproot, then it could be a benefit to have a clay type soil. I think our collards and kale, things like that, okra always did well in a clay soil, as well as tomatoes. I wouldn't grow lettuce in a clay soil. But you just kind of have to look at, okay, your soil has a lot of clay, and so how do we fix that? And I think it's going to take years of work, unless you want to bring in truckloads of compost and then till it in. And you can use other amendments, but I think one of the best ways to build soil were to be a cover crop. Take that cover crop, till that in, incorporate that in to the soil. But every year you're going to grow something different in that spot, and it's just going to build up the soil, and it's going to get better and better and better. As far as mushroom spores, keep the soil healthy, even if there was not. So what I do is we have these Kingstopharia mushroom spawn beds, and I just bring in new wood chips, and I just continue to take some of that, taking some of those spores and spreading them around and mixing them around. And as long as they have enough water, they're hydrated, and it just spreads every time a mushroom fruits. And I will go and I will pick it, and I will put that in my soil mix, my seedling soil mix, or if I'm transplanting it, a tree or whatever it is in the greenhouse, then I'll take those mushroom spores and I will kind of smash them to the bottom of the plant roots, and I'll spread it that way as well. So I'm always, just spreading this stuff around. I've only bought it once. I think you only probably have to buy something like that once if you know what to look for, what to come up, you can see it as it aggressively spreads through the wood chips, and you can move it to another part of the garden, keep it hydrated, and just let it break down. Let the worms get in there and move it around as well. And the last question, does Mike still have rock and rubble that he'd like to give him? Yeah, I do have a few rocks left. And so if you have a truck and you want some free rocks, we've still got a couple piles of rocks that you can come and you can get. And so just hit me up, and you can have these free rocks. The last question is, where do you find local grants? Usually I hear of a local grant by word of mouth. A lot of times you can go to the city, and they'll have on their website, they'll have links to organizations that might be looking for people to award grants to. Some processes are easier than others, but I would say it's a great opportunity for you to build up your farm and to get some of the things that you need. Over the years, I've had an opportunity to get grants from a couple of grants from Cultivate Kansas City, grants from Kansas City itself through programs like the KC Grow program that helps with water in urban spaces, grants from organizations like LISC, grants from organizations like the Young Farmers, grants from organizations like KZ Bugs. So just ask a couple of farmers or get online and do some searches for local grants or national grants, and just try to tell your story. I think the more you can tell your story, the greater an opportunity someone will come up to you, and that contact will tell you of a grant, and you can apply for that grant, and who knows, you may get $10,000, $5,000, $25,000. I would say we've probably gotten closer to $75,000, $80,000 in grants or so over the years, maybe more. But it's been a great opportunity. We've had a lot of people believe in Ophelias, And that's a great thing, and I think that's because we're really passionate about what we do, and we hope to inspire people in this thing we call urban agriculture. We really believe what you're doing is important as far as going through this program. I think it really has to be a passion. I don't think you go into an ag program because you're looking to get rich. Although it is possible, we will get it there, one day. But it's something you love to do because you love being outside, you love nature, you love how stuff used to smell, and you believe in a local food system can work with a national or global food system. And to really be sustainable, they both have to exist. And so if it wasn't for students like you, we would be in a very bad place. So, just keep on the grind. Thank you for watching this video and asking me these questions. And I will hope to see you at the top.